Hello friends, and today I'm here to discuss the chapter Gender, Religion and Caste. So today we'll be discussing the religious division, which is very different from the one we had just discussed, that was the gender division. Unlike the gender division, it's particularly and most of the times expressed in politics. Okay, let us see in what ways. One of them is that Gandhiji said that politics can never be separated from religion. By this, he did not mean by Hinduism or Islamism. By this, he meant that the ethics that one gains from the religion should be the principal basis of motivating and the guidelines for the politics. So the ethics should move the politics. Then the second, the human rights group said that when the most of the victims of the communal riots are the minorities and they should be protected. The women said that most of the family laws, the women movement said that most of the family laws are discriminate towards the women, and the government should change them to make them more equitable. So unless and until these all things happen, religion and politics is nothing bad. It does not mean that religion and politics together will always form a dangerous reaction. No. Sometimes it can be normal and it can be sometimes good as well. For example, ideas, ideals, and the things, ideals, and things drawn from the religion can, and should play a role in the politics. That means a person should be able to express his or her need as a member of a religious community, and the person who is holding the political power can sometimes regulate the practice of a religion in order to suppress oppression and discrimination. These all things are right unless and until all religions are treated equally. So when does the problem start? The problems start when religion is seen as the principal basis of a nation, which can never ever be. So let us see what happens when slowly and slowly religion and politics start creating a problem. Well, when religion is expressed in exclusive and partisan terms in the politics, then it can create a problem. When one religion or the members of the religion are pitted against the others, then it can create a problem. When the beliefs of a religion are shown as superior to the other religions, then it can cause a problem. When the demands of religious groups are formed in the opposition to the others, then it can cause a problem. And when state power is used to establish dominance of one religion over the other, then of course it can cause a problem. So you see how religion and politics can cause a problem. So after this, I'm going to discuss communalism. Communalism is the political organization of a society based on federal communes. So how is this expressed in politics? What does happens? It is based on the idea that the people of one religious community, that the people of one religion form a social community. Second, they do not have any differences and all their interests are common. And if they do have any interests which are not in common, then those are superficial, and those are not true, and they are trivial in the community life. Second, if people of two different religions have something in common, then that is superficial and that cannot be. Third, that if there is something in common between them, then that cannot happen, of course, I've already told you. And they cannot adjust with each other. If they are there, their interests and their beliefs involves a conflict. In extreme cases, communalism can also lead to believe that the people of different religion cannot live in the same country as equal citizens. Either of the one has to dominate the other. But is it true? No. People of the same religion have only one interest in common, that is religion. And if they are brought together in a context other than religion, then it is sought to suppress many voices within that religion. That means, for example, if my parents, my family, let's take the example of my family, we are of the same religion, of course, but my brother has a different aspiration. I have a different aspiration. My mother and my father have different aspirations. So, if we are brought together in all contexts, I might not be able to speak. My brother might be able to speak. My father not might be able to speak. So we might not be able to express ourselves. We might not be able to do what we want to. So this is what happens if the people of one religion are brought together in a context other than religion. Then this is sought to suppress many voices. The most common way in which it is expressed in politics is, first of all, we that is the religious prejudices and the stereotypes of religious groups, and the belief of one's religion's superiority over the other. We all believe it in we all believe it, and sometimes we even don't know it. Second is, a communal mind is often in a conquest for political dominance of his religion. If he is a part of a majority, then he would start having a majoritarian dominance. If he is part of a minority, then this would lead to a this would lead to a desire to have a separate political unit. And the third way by which it is expressed in his politics is political mobilization on religious lines. By they will use special sacred symbols and emotional speeches, and plain fear to bring the people of one religion under the political arena. And they will also have emotional appeals to the interest of the people of one religion in preference to the others. So this is what they do to bring the people and have more votes. Then sometimes the communalism can take its most ugliest form, that is violence and riots. India and Pakistan at the time of the partition experienced some of the worst religion communal riots. So this is a very ugly form of the communalism. I hope that you have understood what is communalism and what is the diverse divisions based upon religions. Till what extent are they good, and after which they are threatening. If you want to know more about this chapter, then you've got to see my other videos. Thank you.